Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream, pre-stream. That's right. We're going to get the show started in just a second. Oh, been a couple days, everybody. Hope everybody's Thanksgiving was wonderful. While you're here, while we get started, I'm about to send the text message. That's right. We've got the Canary Cry text message alert system where you can sign up to receive a text straight from me before every show starts. It's a great way if you find that the big tech companies are not sending you notifications. For instance, we got what we're calling mega shadow banned on Friday because of our episode with the Missouri Freedom Initiative. That was apparently too much for YouTube to handle. The shadow banning is clear and present danger on that episode. And so there's a chance that a large portion of the YouTube audience will not get a notification. Well, if you want to make sure you do, you can get on our text message alert system. All you got to do is text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. That's Canary to 877-740-3226. You'll get on the list. We just send a text before every episode. You can text the number back, and I will see your message, but I am unable to text you in sort of a casual manner. Let's see here. So do that. Join that. You can also find that at canarycry.party. It's a URL. Go check it out. Lots of good stuff there. What was I going to say? I feel like there's something else I wanted to say. Oh, go ahead and hit the like button. That would be nice. Yeah. Hit the like button right now. You can always take it back later, but getting those likes right at the beginning of the show is good. It's good for us, which means it's good for you. That's how value for value works. So go ahead, no matter where you're watching this, hit the thumbs up. Okay, over on Rumble, we got The Racing Heart. What's up, The Racing Heart? Of course, we've got Daniel, One Lousy Petunia, Estimating One, Salta Paul, Datalorian, Cody. We got a bunch of people over on YouTube. Hello. Over on Twitch, we got 122Go2, Santa Wears Brown, and somebody whose name is in a color the same as the background. I think it's Nick Twisp. I think it is. Nick Twisp is back over on the Twitch. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get this show started with some good old-fashioned news talk.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is November 27th, 2023. This is episode 692. And today, whimsically, scripturally, and signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, director of the Age of Deceit Films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events and today's emergent phenomena. You know that phrase, Basil? Ain't that the truth? Heard of that one? What are the first two letters of that phrase or idiom?
A-I.
It's taking over all the topics in the news cycle, Basil.
You know, I really appreciate all the energy you put into these.
I don't put in that much. These just come, baby. They just.
Oh no,
they're popping
you
in.
Don't?
They
Weird.
just pop in, and
surely nobody would notice.
No. Well, I prepare, but you know, I'm not spending too much time trying to come up with the content there. It's just
sure.
Hey, what are we talking about today? AI, boom, lots of AI. And
Gonz,
we need some
You're not
truth.
supposed to tell everybody that you're not trying. You're supposed to tell everybody that you spend all of your brain energy. You scour the ancient texts for inspiration.
Yeah.
Anyways, yep. A lot of stuff going on today. I hope everybody's Thanksgiving was wonderful. It was regular over here. It's nice, regular. And we'll talk more about personal stuff later on in the show. Before we do, Gons, before we get another shadow ban like we did on Friday, we better give a disclaimer.
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up.
YouTube. That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys.
That's right. The good boys are back in town. Let me give you a rundown, Guns.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Starting off, humanity just witnessed its first space battle. We'll give you the details here at the top of the show. And the U.S. has found at least 10 alien bodies in crashed UFOs. Surprise, surprise. At the same time, we'll be checking in with the Pentagon's moves toward Killbots. That's right. We've been talking Killbots for years around here, and the time has come. We'll see who's on the side of humanity and who is on the side of the AI Killbots. Then, during the main section of the show here, we got an interesting set of circumstances that will ultimately congeal into one full theory. Starting off, we've got a former Google engineer and Trump pardonee relaunching the AI church. That's right. We've been talking about the AI church for years now, and they decided to give it another go. And of course, Gons is going to tell us what happens if Donald Trump dies while running in the 2024 presidential election. Then some big updates at the OpenAI. That's right. Sam Altman, where is he now? And one story that I am incredibly proud made it to the mainstream. And for those who are longtime Canary criers, I think we talked about this subject on the first episode of Canary Cry Radio in 2012. But we'll talk about the strange spiritual claims coming from the chief science officer at OpenAI. Then we're going to get into some media literacy in California. That's right, folks. It's going to be incredible. But first, Guns, our lead stories.
Space. Wanna go to space?
Space Force.
Space Force.
Spaceship.
They make their sound, which is kind of like
A spaceship.
Space Force.
Wow.
Yeah,
I love that jingle.
it's happening.
Gizmodo. Humanity just witnessed its first space battle.
Quote unquote first.
Yeah. Early last week, this article is a couple weeks old, but we're catching up on some things here, and there's some stuff we wanted to cover. So this one we'll cover now. Early last week, Israel's Arrow 2 missile system successfully intercepted and destroyed a suborbital ballistic missile suspected of launching from Yemen. It's a notable technological achievement, but one with potentially serious legal and geopolitical implications.
Ooh.
Yeah. The Israeli Defense Force, IDF, shot down an Iranian-manufactured ballistic missile using an Arrow 2 anti-missile system, Haaretz reported. The incident happened on Tuesday, October 31st, with Yemeni forces possibly targeting Eilat, an Israeli city on the coast of the Red Sea. The Telegraph claims the missile was intercepted and destroyed above the Kármán line, which is at 62 miles or 100 kilometers above sea level, is widely recognized as the boundary of space. So did it pierce the firmament, Basil, or did they just get above an artificial line that people just kind of decided was the line at which space begins?
Yes, we've talked about the Kármán line.
Yeah. There have been many earlier instances of missile-on-missile interceptions above the Kármán line, according to Harvard Smithsonian astronomer Jonathan McDowell. However, all previous cases involved interceptors targeting missiles launched by the same party for testing purposes. Whereas this is the first occurrence of a missile successfully intercepting an incoming missile from an adversary in space, McDowell, an expert on space launches, explained to Gizmodo over email. Which, it's kind of interesting because the capabilities have been there, and they're just, they're admitting that, they've done this type of drill before, but it's the first one where it's not a drill,
Well, of course, you got to test the missile. If you're making a missile, you got to test the missile. But for, first hot action above the Kármán line, this show is filled with sort of precipice points of humanity. Us just waltzing right across the edge of the future. And this is one of them. I mean, whether or not it's kind of the most exciting thing in all of our daily lives remains to be seen. But we have officially had our first combat in space. We did it, everybody. We did it.
The whole idea of having drills beforehand to test it, doesn't it feel like, we got to do kind of a pre-show, a rehearsal, and then we got the real show, official game time.
I don't know. Did they call it drills?
They said tests.
Or are you calling it drills?
They testing for testing purposes.
Yeah, testing. Testing is different from drills.
Okay, so it's even less of a thing, probably, right?
Yeah, it's nothing. It's just let's give it a try.
Okay, well, still, it's all pre-done, make sure it works, and then it can happen, in a geopolitical context.
Yeah, that's generally how invention works.
I know, but it just seems more staged nowadays. I don't know. You tell me, man. Maybe I'm just crazy losing my mind.
I am. Don't worry. I'm telling you. Keep going.
Ballistic. It's funny how your tagline is now "You're not crazy," but throughout the show, it's just you telling me how crazy I am.
No, I'm trying to remind you that you're not crazy. Don't worry. You got to test. You got to test technology before you put it in action, and it defends your country from space invaders or missiles.
Yeah, and you also have to test the staging and the lighting and all that stuff when you do a production. Ballistic missile defense systems generally engage threats within the Earth's atmosphere, while anti-satellite tests have demonstrated higher altitude capabilities, such as those conducted by the U.S., Russia, China, and India. These have been distinct from intercepting a missile in flight. So there you go. Pretty interesting stuff. And, obviously there's more to it. They get into some stuff here. Now, they call it the Arrow 2 system, which, Arrow's not that much of a thing. But, there's some scripture that I thought was interesting when it comes to some of this because, first let me mention the line here. It says this technology, talking about the Arrow 2 system, traces back to the V-2 rockets developed by the Nazis. The first ever ballistic missile used in warfare, which I thought was a little, it's interesting, Basil, how we've talked about paperclip and how the Nazi scientists came to the United States after World War II and they helped develop the rocketry system and NASA and the whole deal. And now that that's pretty well known, like all rocketry origins kind of have that Nazi flavor to it.
Oh yeah, always. And this will be a theme throughout the show too. Ancestry of pretty much all technology in the U.S., but specifically with rocketry in this story.
Yeah, and then there's a line in here. This led the IDF to establish the Homa Fortification Organization aimed at creating an effective missile defense system for the nation. And, of course, people have mentioned this before, and I'm just bringing up old news in the scriptures, Basil, from back in Daniel 11, the wars of Antichrist. And starting around verse 37, he will show no regard for the gods of his fathers, nor for the one desired by women, nor for any other god, because he will magnify himself above them all. And in their place he will honor a god of fortresses, a god his fathers did not know, with gold, silver, precious stones, and riches. He will attack the strongest fortresses with the help of a foreign god, and will greatly honor those who acknowledge him, making them rulers over many and distributing the land for a price. So there's a lot there. We're not going to break down everything, but I've always had this concept of the god of fortresses in conjunction with the abomination of desolation, and in the context of modern nation state Israel and how they're talking about the Iron Dome and the fortress. And I don't know, there's just some things to consider there. But also Revelation 13, when it comes to rocketry and this kind of stuff, and we've made this point before, Revelation 13:13, talking about the second beast that performs great signs and can cause fire to come down from heaven in the presence of people. Everyone's going to see it. That's sort of the idea, that it's not just some secret lightning bolt from nowhere. It's more in the sight of men. People are seeing the fire come down from heaven, and the second beast is able to call it down and say, hey, we're coming down with some fire, and the whole world watches. And, you know, it just interesting parallels. I'm not saying that this is exactly what was being described, but it's something to consider. And then, of course, this is one of my favorite commentaries from the late Chuck Missler of Koinonia House. And he referenced Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 9. I'll just read the whole thing here in the English Standard Version. For behold, I am stirring up and bringing against Babylon a gathering of great nations from the north country, and they shall array themselves against her. From there she shall be taken. Their arrows are like a skilled warrior who does not return empty-handed. I think the King James is none shall return in vain. And the idea is that what Chuck Missler pointed out is these arrows don't miss. There's something about these modern rocketry, for the most part, unless something terribly wrong happens, doesn't miss. It's all calculated. It's all algos.
Yeah, very precise.
Very precise. So it's another observation, from the scriptures of maybe there's some things that perhaps the authors weren't aware of, like, they were seeing rockets and they're trying to describe it, but rather something transcendent was able to write things in the ancient past that we're looking at in 2023 going, oh yeah, that we do have arrows that do not return in vain. They hit their target, and also the assembly of great nations. There's a lot there, but just some stuff, Basil, just some Bible prophecy stuff. I don't know. This is, space war. Come on, space war. We got to talk about space wars.
Can't ignore it.
Yeah.
Can't ignore it.
Well, what are the flat earthers saying about this? It's just all fake?
Oh yeah, we have some in the chat right now.
Oh, okay. So yeah, what's the take? Is it everyone's trying to break the firmament? It's just an excuse to try to break the firmant. Elon's thing failed
just
on the
that
firmament.
We're shills that we're spreading
we're spelling
globe nonsense, and not even getting paid for it. That's mainly the thing.
Well, I'm curious where the dome is supposed to be and how far out is it? Maybe there's
Harmon
some
line's
space.
a good first guess.
Yeah, 62 miles.
100 kilometers, 62 miles. Yeah.
But that's not 62 miles all the way around if it's a dome, right?
Moving on, some big news. World of aliens, not so big news, but we got something to say here, folks. Aliens.
You don't know what you're looking at.
What's driving that thing? It's not a space alien.
Aliens. It's unidentified.
Aliens. Anybody out there who listens to the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, which statistically there's many of you. This is coming from metro.co.uk, mirrored by MSN. US has found, quote, that's the important part, quote, at least 10 alien bodies in crashed UFOs.
10.
And love the article. I'm going to read the whole thing in full right now, and it goes like this. A military whistleblower says the U.S. government has retrieved at least 10 alien bodies from UFO crashes. Speaking on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, David Charles Grush said the number of crashes recorded was in double digits and that the number of extraterrestrial bodies recovered was up there as well. Quote, up there as well. Just like the retrievals. And that's the whole thing.
Up there in count, meaning, is that what he means? Like,
it's up there, Guns. It's up there.
Okay.
Yeah, this quick mention. You got anything you want to say right off the bat here?
About the 10 I mean, sure. I guess it's
okay,
just
hold on. So just by chance, Guns, you had brought this article to the show, and just by chance, I listened to the David Grush episode on the Joe Rogan Experience this morning.
Oh, okay.
While I was getting my pump on in the garage. That's working out for anybody maybe from a different country or planet. And, you know, I can't, well, here's the truth of it. There's this incessant beeping that happens in my garage and I can't stop it. So I have to have the headphones.
Can you unplug it?
The noise canceling. No, if I unplug it, then the whole house will go dead.
Oh.
Anywho, so I have to listen to podcasts while I work out. And I thought, sure, let's go for the new David Grush thing. And so much ado to do with David Grush for quite some time now, ever since he started.
Whistleblower.
Going on the Joe Rogan podcast. Yes, of course, whistleblower to Congress and all these things. Very interesting story. But there's lots of, you know, conversation. Oh, man. Long threads about, do we believe David Grush? Do we not believe David Grush? Is he a useful idiot? Is he blah, 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 all these things. And we all just need to remember, he explicitly says that he is on the side of the government, that he's doing this for his country. He worked in intelligence agencies forever. He is a man in uniform, and he explicitly says that everything he's saying, the government is allowing him to say. So the argument about whether David Grush is a government agent, working on the soft disclosure of aliens, is not a discussion. By his own admission, he is only saying what the government is allowing him to say, and no more, no less.
And
so
it
just
comes,
put that to bed right now.
And just as a reminder, we say it every time he comes up in the last year or so, but the whistleblower legislation changed. The laws changed around whistleblower protection, and then all of a sudden, alien whistleblowers.
Yes.
So it's been the
so
stage has been set.
So that's the sort of background of the whole thing. And he did go on there. He's had a lot to say.
Yeah.
Once again, not a whole lot that
a lot of words, not a lot of substance.
Well,
like the same story.
I mean, he's got a lot of substance, just nothing new.
Nothing new.
That's part of what's going on here.
Yeah.
And this is why I do appreciate David Grush. For all of us that have been following the alien thing for decades, what we are watching is the official soft disclosure. This is it. David Grush is it. He is an agent of the government saying what they want to say, disclosing as much as the government wants to disclose at this moment on the perfect platform, which is Joe Rogan. More people listen to Joe Rogan than watch all the nightly news channels combined. So if you were going to try to disclose, you wouldn't want to put it on the nightly news anyways. You would put it in the one place that bajillions of people listen to. So this is it. This is what we've been talking about for years now. This is the disclosure. There's no need to argue about whether he's for real or not for real. That's beside the point. The point is he is the instrument by which the government is disclosing UFOs. Now, with that, we can certainly guarantee that there are at least some lies of omission going on there, as he admits himself. He's like,
right.
Oh, I can't talk about that, can't talk about this, blah, 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 blah. So
yeah, but that part of that also, I would imagine, creates the mystery. Like, you got to keep the mystery going a little bit. He's a whistleblower, but also,
leave him wanting more.
The sentiment of, we're left with more questions. It's not that there were answers. It's just there's more questions now. It's great. And to your point, being sort of the agent, the mouthpiece of the government in terms of the disclosure, the news media gets to just keep coming back to it with all kinds of different angles. Maybe something he said months ago, but then now he can use it in a headline 6 months from now, and the clicks are dying from the Middle East stuff. So it's we can pull out the alien thing again, and there you go. We got 10 bodies.
This is the history. the history will be written that this is how the government disclosed UFOs. And honestly, they're doing a great job. They are doing it in a way that, most of the country is so worried about other stuff, they don't really take
they've made it kind
put
of
much stock into the Joe Rogan experience.
Right.
And the people who are passionate about it really have known everything he said.
Yeah.
He's just doing a great job of consolidating the entire collection of UFO stuff into one, outlet.
We
one
have
guy giving one interview.
We have to consolidate before we can move higher, Basil. You get more revelation to come, but people have to digest, what had been.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what's going on.
Yeah, you create a new
there's
normal.
No need to get worked up about it.
Yeah.
He is explicit. You are witnessing government disclosure, and it's happening at the speed they'd like and with the detail that they'd like. And when they are ready, when the stars are aligned, if you will, when the situation is beneficial, they'll tell us more.
Yeah, and I have been looking at the whole alien subject and through the lens of the technological development for the last decade, and this whole thing reminded me yes, buddy.
Ooh.
Oh, busting out raisins.
Cry,
who wants raisins?
Canary Cry BabysittersClub.com.
Oh, yeah.
Canary Cry
Yogurt.
BabysittersClub.com. We are still building up that account of producership to get the nanny in the house.
Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, okay. So looking at some of that stuff for a while, I came across something, I think it was 2018. It was very interesting. I made a whole video about it. It was from Gizmodo, I believe, one of the sources anyway. Oh, this is from 2017. Hibernating aliens could explain the Great Silence. And, there's the Fermi's paradox. If there were aliens, where are they? And Anders Sanders, I believe, he's one of these transhumanist types. I think he's from, I can't remember if it was Sweden or Switzerland. He's one of the guys quoted in this article. And let me just mention it real quick. So they talk about digital aliens. Indeed, an increasing number of futurists, astrobiologists, and SETI experts are starting to think that advanced intelligence eventually transitions into a digital mode of existence, living as digital beings within powerful supercomputers. Post-biological aliens, or future post-humans, there it is, will demand unhindered access to powerful and efficient means of information processing, a hypothetical mode of existence known as Dataism. Dataism, Basil.
Yes, Dataism.
Yeah.
They all want to share their data. Data.
Everyone talks about the data. So yeah, this idea that these aliens are asleep. They're asleep, Basil, in the digital state. And we just have to provoke them to awaken. And so there's stuff in this article that's pretty wild, where they mention we can, another way to potentially detect these sleeping civilizations would be to mess with their stuff. But that could be very dangerous. Quote, we could try to set off some process that really would upset the astivators, like launching a lot of self-replicating probes to pave the reachable universe with our infrastructure, said Sandberg. Quote, if the astivators are halfway competent, their robot guardians will show up to stop that, which might make this a very risky way of testing the hypothesis. So there you go. That's where Anders Sanders is, or Sandberg is with
self-replicating probes. What could be easier?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the days we're in now. I mean, we are in the days of Noah.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
The cutting edge scientists and cosmologists and everything, they're like, swarm of robots from ancient sleeping alien civilization can you know what I mean? It's like, whoa, okay, all right, I guess Bible doesn't sound that crazy after that.
Yeah, it's
I'm just saying, as we get into the AI era and everything's AI and data and blah 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 blah, the concept of this dataism, I can see it becoming more popular and becoming very confusing for people. Like, wait a minute, so they're aliens, but so like you won't be able to tell if you're talking to an anonymous person or a robot or an alien or what anymore.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, that's what my brain was trying to
articulate,
process when I froze there for a second,
Yeah.
which is we are coming to a point, and we've, again, another thing that we've postulated for years, but we really are coming to a point, and you'll see it sort of come together as this episode goes on, that the religion of AI, the religion of aliens, the religion of, well, I mean, even just like demonic stuff, like all these things are not separate. They might, in a very technical and specific way, be different from one another. But what we're seeing is, even in the secular context of these ideas, they're all congealing into one spiritual concept. And this is people like us have been making connections in these dots for many years, and that's why we're called crazy conspiracy theorist podcasters on the internet. It's a very fringe sort of topic to talk about aliens and AI, and not just their existence or non-existence, but more specifically the sort of spiritual ecosystem that they exist in. And even here in like the mainstream news media, we are all of these topics, or maybe not even topics, I guess entities or theoretical entities, are being discussed in one sort of comprehensive worldview that is becoming more and more widespread and sort of more and more cohesive.
Yeah.
And that includes sort of the supernatural spiritual entity side of things. It's not excluding necessarily a biblical worldview of spiritual personalities getting to work, doing stuff in sort of our realm. So it's very interesting to watch, and it's popping up in many different contexts, which we will enjoy exploring this episode and episodes to come.
If the breath was given to the image, Revelation 13, giving it life in a sense to, I don't know, a pile of dirt or some body that's not alive. It's consistent with all the alchemy stuff, with the homunculus or the golem, but also with, if the U.S. really does have at least 10 alien bodies, is this the government's way of saying, like, we have some wetware hosts for you, demon? Like, what is it any different if it's aliens or AI or demon? It's not anymore. I think that's what your point is too, right? It's all congealing, but it's
it was
interesting.
Always our weird place to, us and people like us, to connect these dots and talk about spirituality and AI and aliens and everything, and sort of compare, contrast, and congeal them. And now it's just, it's the natural flow as more people get on board with these things. It's just sort of the natural conclusion. It's very interesting to watch.
Well, the government, now that they have the hardware, they just need the software. They're like, hey, we got the hardware here. We found them. 10 of them. 10 bodies. It's up there, man. It's up there.
All right. Well, we'll get more into it, folks, as we move along here. But we should remind everybody exactly what day it is.
Gary, what day is it? Monday. Monday.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
That's right. We've made it again. Hope everybody enjoyed the 2 live streams last week. Of course, we live streamed the very recently, previously posted Ireland and Palestinian episode. I thought it was very interesting, Guns, and I was happy to hear that you did too.
Yeah. No, the episode was awesome. I thought the timing of us publishing that was prescient.
It worked out well. Worked out well, didn't it? Yeah. And not only that, on Friday, man, we've gotten such a great response to Friday's episode, which was Patrick Holland with the Missouri Freedom Initiative, talking about, just getting pumped on some freedom, Guns.
Freedom emails.
Yeah,
send them out.
I hope everybody better have sent off their freedom emails. If not, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, that was, again, great job on the conversation there, Basil. I wish I was able to sit in on that. I had some questions for Patrick, but maybe in the future we can knock some things out. But yeah, I mean, sure. Activism. I personally have never been comfortable with the idea of activism in that sort of
That's kind of a
way.
bad word to some people.
Yeah, I think I've been conditioned out here in California to think, oh, you're a bad person if you're an activist. But yeah, I think everything made sense, and especially if you can point to the Constitution, it's kind of like, yeah, all right, I think we have the right to do some of the stuff. It's not a big deal. It's like, hey, if we could get enough people to do it, it's like, the folks that are supposed to represent us have to represent us, and we can vote them out if they don't. But unless we actually move,
and more than vote too.
Yeah, sure.
Voting's just the start of it, as Patrick taught us all on that episode. So if you haven't done it, folks, I highly recommend you check it out. It was very inspiring, constitutional activism, and man, oh man, I did not really fully realize how
American,
cool, how on point, how much Missouri rules. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So, not gonna lie, took a second during the episode to look at some property in Missouri to see if it's a possibility. It's definitely on the list if relocating has to be done.
It's the home of Skywatch TV. It's beautiful country. I've been out there. I love it out there.
Silver Dollar City, baby.
Silver coins, coinage, actually. Yeah.
Oh, well, Silver Dollar City is the amusement park.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I do have a question for you, Basil. I don't know if you have the answer, maybe somebody in the chat, but how long is the acceptable we're eating leftover Thanksgiving food thing? How long can you leave it in the
3 weeks?
3 weeks. Okay.
Yeah. Abraham Lincoln said it.
Really?
And I believe him. 3 weeks.
Basil
real quick,
GPT.
Before we move on, guys, I have some big news for you and the rest of everybody.
Okay.
I don't think you saw this because I got it in a personal thing, and I wanted to save it for the show.
Okay.
The Missouri Freedom Initiative episode of Canary Cry Radio is, I think, as we speak, playing on FM radio all over Missouri right now.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
We're radio stars now, Gons.
Really?
And it's
That's
not
crazy.
It's not even the first time. Let me see here.
We've just been blasting on Missouri. We're just all over Missouri. This is awesome.
Missouri's our place, man. Missouri Canarians, listen up. Let's get some Missouri meetups going. Let's see. We played on Sunday night. We played this morning, and we're scheduled again on Wednesday to play the episode.
Is there a radio station that we should thank or something that's doing the thing, or what's?
Oh, that's a good question. We should give them a shout out.
Or is it just somebody in a basement that's got
it is a radio
large
station.
satellite dish?
The person did not tell me exactly what radio station, so I'll get that information, and we will thank the radio station for that. That's pretty cool. And if anybody else out there works at a radio station, you want to pop us on, you can do that, and we'll give you thanks on the podcast. So
keeping it real, man. The old radio. Is it AM or FM?
It is FM. FM radio.
Oh,
yeah, not
up.
even
crazy.
AM radio.
Yeah.
And I am of course getting the message right now.
They took it down. They shut down the whole thing. Fire fell from the sky, and
no, of course, the person who let me know all about this is watching live right now. So it's Missouri Liberty Radio FM. Do we have a frequency? Do we have a frequency? Come on, give me the frequency.
I can look that up. Is that let's see, radio lineup, Radio Missouri stations.
Okay, I'm being told not to overblow it. It's not all over Missouri.
Okay.
But it is influential in Missouri politics.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah. Hello, Missouri politicians.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Well, you got anything else? What do you got?
Nothing. I'm just, you took me off guard. This is really cool. I want to know the radio station so I can give him a shout out.
Yeah. Well, we'll learn more. We'll do it.
Cool.
Okie dokie. Well, with that, Gons, we would not be able to have our voices broadcast on FM radio if it weren't for the producers. So we should thank some executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right, folks. We are on the value for value model, which means we take absolutely zero money from corporations, commies, or cartels. Nope. There's no advertising agency between your mind and what we have to say. We do not package up your time and attention and sell it to corporations for our own personal gain, which is a bad business model. What we've done instead of being fiscally responsible and taking money from corporations, we're on the value for value model, which means we take, well, you heard me, I said it before, but we are only alive because of the producers. Who are the producers? They're you, dear listener. If you get value from what we do, you are invited, some people feel responsible, to put value back into the show because that's the only way it goes. Thank God we get to separate from the necro-capitalist concept that even if a show is useless to people, but it's still valuable to corporations, then it lives on forever. It's opposite here. We only exist as long as we bring value to people's lives and they feel inspired to put value back in. You can do so with your time, your talent, or your treasure. You can go to canarycry.support to learn more. Canarycry.support. Yep, and we got some executive producers that we're going to thank. Executive producers, they come in for $100 or more for any individual episode, and we're so very grateful to them for that. So we're going to thank them now.
Okay,
ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, we're starting off with the king of executive producers. That's right, it's executive producer Sir Alex Protocol V2, Knight of the Berean Protocol. All right, Gons, let's take our time for a second. I need to ask you a question. Did you get the art from Sir Darren, Knight of the Hungry Panda?
Let's see.
See, this worries me, Gonzo. This worries me that
today
you did not get it. It's on the sheet. It's right on the very helpful spreadsheet that we tell everybody to go to canarycry.art and to upload the art because it goes onto our spreadsheet so we don't lose it. And it's waiting there for us. And so, of course, much like your emergent phenomenon, you put a lot of attention and time into making sure that we get all the art from the spreadsheet and put it on the show. Surely you've done this, yes?
Yes, ready to go.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because, and remember, there's also a jingle that is about to be called upon, and that's because Sir Alex Protocol, V2, Knight of the Berean Protocol, frontiersman, pioneersman on the frontier of executive producer streaks, has been producing the show in total for 239 episodes in a row, but he, as of last Wednesday, actually, was on a 33 executive producer streak, making him the first ever executive producer illuminated master shill.
And we also have this right here.
Executive illuminated master shill.
There it is. There it is. Big day, big day. Thank you, Sir Alex Protocol V2.
Officially solidified illuminated lizard master shill.
The most exciting streak.
You just got washed over by the new Illuminati master shill.
I feel that. We're on FM radio now, Gons. We can't be messing around.
Yeah.
But of course, he executive produced for Wednesday's show and Friday's show and today. So technically, he has now reached 35 episode executive producer streak. Very impressive.
Yeah. Illuminatus! +2.
I hope this money is not coming from crime, Sir Alex Protocol.
Well, let's check the list.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Might need to add crime to that list. It is a C word.
Yeah, right. But I'm not going to ask any questions. I don't want.
Well, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I just think, in terms of a caveat.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sir Alex Protocol V2, Night of the Berean Protocol, Executive Producer, Illuminated Lizard Master Shell. Next up,
hold on.
We've got
one more thing for Alex Protocol V2.
Goodness.
Sir Alex Protocol V2.
Where'd you find this?
It's important to do all the things.
That's right.
All the things.
Right. That's why we made it on FM radio. Okay. We've got a couple more executive producers. Of course, we've got the one and the only executive producer, Felicia D.
Felicia D, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Felicia D. Came in with a nice round number, which means we are not going to disclose the amount on the show. If you don't mind us disclosing the amount, much like Sir Alex Protocol V2, you make it a funky number. Some people put 33 cents or 77 cents or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is. That's how you tell us that it's okay if we disclose the amount. Thank you very much, Executive Producer Felicia D.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you very much. Right. Appreciate you.
And we've got one more executive producer.
Ooh.
This is a very nice individual, a listener to the show for a very long time, and indeed one of the very few producers that I've actually met in person, which maybe I should not have disclosed, but I am disclosing it. That is executive producer Jamie G.
Jamie G. Thank you.
Jamie G. Thank you very much, executive producer Jamie G, and came in with a very impressive executive producership of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Whoa!
$1,234.
Oh my gosh!
And 56 cents. Amazing. I think that's the first, I believe, off the top of my head, that is the first time somebody has ever given us that series of numbers. So,
that's my heart right now. Is he an Insta-Knight?
He is an Insta-Knight.
Wow.
We do not currently have his knighthood information, but this does make Jamie G an Insta-Knight, which we will get the information. And man, just in time for those Christmas bonuses, guys.
Yeah. Wow.
Incredible. We're a little worried, actually. We're a little worried this year about Christmas, but this certainly helps.
Yeah. Thank you, Jamie G. I appreciate you. Is there a note?
There is a note.
Oh,
and
okay.
Jamie G, he also signed up for the supply drop, so that's very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
And he has a note here. This says, Canary Cry is the only thing I have ever tithed to.
Wow.
Y'all are very important, and I hope y'all never stop. I do it mostly for the kingdom, but also selfishly. I fully expect a jam session when we get there. I'm assuming he means heaven. You guys have significantly affected my spiritual walk and would not be where I am without the work y'all have done. Please never stop. Peace and love, my dudes. Well,
hallelujah.
Thank you so much.
Hallelujah. Well, Jamie G, with producerships like this, we won't ever need to stop. So just to let you know that's very meaningful to us. And, the tithe thing is something we take very seriously. I've mentioned it before. Some people do include us in their monthly tithes, which we take extremely seriously. That's about as serious as you can take something, because, yes, we opposed to what our former boss told us, we do consider the show, our kingdom work.
And by the way, that's a former boss, not of the podcast. This is pre-podcast or early stages of podcast. There's a whole story.
The job in which you and I met each other and got scolded for using company property to make this podcast, actually.
Yeah.
So yes, we consider it kingdom work. We don't just consider it our job, but also our ministry and sort of the reason we've been put here. And so, yes, for those who tithe to the show, it's extremely meaningful, and we take it very seriously. So thank you, Jamie G. And yeah, you said fully expect a jam session when we get there. I think we could have a jam session before we get to heaven. I think that's possible.
Does Jamie G play instruments?
Yes, he does.
Oh, he does.
Yes, he does. I'm not going to say too much, but yes, he does. So thank you very much, executive producer Jamie G.
Where'd you find this?
And make sure to get us your knighthood information. We'll knight you soon.
Got to make that happen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the list of financial producers. We got some more producers. I think we'll thank them later on in the show.
Okay.
And yeah, there you go. If you want to learn how to produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure, you can go to canarycry.support.
Canarycry.support. Is it time for Flippy?
It's time for Flippy.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
All right, this was a big update that got a lot of national news, which, again, shows me that we've been on the right track the whole time, Gons. And look at that. I can put on chapstick while broadcasting. That's why we're on FM radio. Okay, this is Flippy. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways the robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update comes from Business Insider, some interesting intelligence connections with that outlet. But the headline is, the Pentagon is moving toward letting AI weapons autonomously decide to kill humans.
It will kill.
I love the language of this. Sometimes, Gons, sometimes I get accused of speaking too generally or being too careful with my words. And I admit that I like to be precise with my words when it comes to communicating different ideas. And the way this headline is presented reminds me of something that I would say if I was trying to gently say that the Pentagon is going to facilitate the ultimate robo-apocalypse. And that is that the Pentagon is moving toward letting AI weapons autonomous. They're just moving in the direction of the robo-apocalypse.
The general direction. Nothing specific, just a stroll towards AI.
Yes,
swarms.
They're just, they're not committing, but they are trending that way.
We're all going to die.
The article goes like this: the deployment of AI-controlled drones that can make autonomous decisions about whether to kill human targets is moving closer to reality.
Drones.
Drone strikes have saved lives.
Can we shoot them down if over our property?
Drones.
And notice how it doesn't say, the invention of these drones, the production of these drones, the capabilities of these drones. No, they're saying the deployment of the drones, like the actual action of the drones killing people on their own behalf.
Yeah, they could have been regulating this a long time ago. They just haven't, and I think we'll see why here.
Yeah, lethal autonomous weapons that can select targets using AI are being developed by countries including the U.S., China, and Israel. The use of the so-called killer robots, they put it in quotes, so-called killer robots. I don't think you can put that in quotes anymore. I mean, they're just literally killer robots.
Yeah.
That is their categorical
They're not so
name.
called. Yeah, they are called. Yeah. They are not so called.
Would mark a disturbing development, say critics, handing life and death battlefield decisions to machines with no human input. Several governments are lobbying the UN for a binding resolution restricting the use of AI killer drones, but the US is among a group of nations, which also includes Russia, Australia, and Israel, who are resisting any such move, favoring a non-binding resolution instead. The Times reported, quote, "This is really one of the most significant inflection points for humanity," Alexander Kempt, Austria's chief negotiator on the issue, told the Times. What is Austria doing here? Okay. Quote, "What's the role of human beings in the use of force? It's an absolutely fundamental security issue, a legal issue, and an ethical issue." All right, Austria. The Pentagon is working towards deploying swarms of thousands of AI-enabled drones, according to a notice published earlier this year. In a speech in August, U.S. Deputy Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks said technology like AI-controlled drone swarms would enable the U.S. to offset China's People's Liberation Army's numerical advantage in weapons and people. So we got to get the AI drone swarms to get the Chiners. Come on.
There's more of them. There's more of them than us. So we gotta we gotta deploy the drones so it's an even match.
What's
we need
that
parity.
Saying? There is something like the PLA is so big that they could their soldiers could swim from China, and the ones who made it are still bigger than our military.
I've not heard that before. But that is funny. Sorry,
we'll counter the PLA's mass with mass of our own.
Oh, I like that mass. It's just weight.
Well, they do keep. I know. Isn't that such cannon fodder talk?
Yeah.
Whoever can put more mass in between your country and the other guy wins. But ours will be harder to plan for, harder to hit, harder to beat. Doubt it.
Who's got the space lasers? They're gonna win.
Harder to hit, harder to beat. You just gotta blast one massive microwave tower at these things and they'll all fry. They're so easy to beat.
Yeah.
Moving on. Frank Kendall, the Air Force Secretary, told the Times that AI drones will need to have the capability to make lethal decisions while under human supervision. Quote, individual decisions versus not doing individual decisions is the difference between winning and losing, and you're not going to lose. Yeah, so he's basically saying we'll lose if we have to get humans involved. Quote, I don't think people we would be up against would do that. And it would give them a huge advantage if we put that limitation on ourselves. Yeah, they would do it, so we're going to do it. The New Scientist reported in October that AI-controlled drones have already been deployed on the battlefield by Ukraine in its fight against Russian invasion. Well, so if they can do it, we can do it, though it's unclear if any have taken action resulting in human casualties. The Pentagon did not immediately respond for a request for comment. So there you go, Gons. We're closer than ever. We are trending towards letting these swarms of thousands of AI drones make decisions on their own. And the headline image on this article is maybe the most disturbing part about it. You've got 2 or 3 tanks sort of lined up, displaying themselves, and hovering above the tanks is about, 60 to 100 drones, just waiting, just thirsting for blood, and with a cold, lifeless sort of determination in their eyes.
It's got to be biblical.
There's a passage in Joel 2 that talks about these kind of like swarms of locusts that sound kind of like drones. There's some passages here. I have.
Read it, bro. Read it, bro.
Okay,
Maybe you can get some of those likes if you read some scripture.
Here we go.
A bunch of people on Rumble that aren't hitting the thumbs up button. Let's go.
All right, here we go. All right.
A day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and blackness, like the dawn overspreading the mountains. A great and strong army appears, such as never was of old, nor will ever be in ages to come. They charge like mighty men, they scale the walls like men of war. Each one marches in formation, not swerving from the course. They do not jostle one another, each proceeds in his path. They burst through the defenses, never breaking ranks. They storm the city, they run along the walls. They climb into houses, entering through windows like thieves.
And it goes on.
Wow, sounds like a bunch of AI drones to me, guys.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Every line of that scripture.
Crazy, I know.
Fits. Even the sneaking up in the windows.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Specifically not jostling each other.
They're in formation. Yeah.
It's an interesting thing for the writer of Joel to include, and it's so specifically AI, programmed not to run into each other.
Right. It's pretty wild. I did want to mention the New York Times article that was being referenced there in the Business Insider I don't know if we have the link there anymore, but it was similar title as AI controlled killer drones become reality, nations debate limits. And in this one, there's a line in here that I wanted to mention here. While the UN is providing a platform for governments to express their concerns, the process seems unlikely to yield substantive new legally binding restrictions. The United States, Russia, Australia, Israel, and others have all argued that no new international law is needed for now, while China wants to define any legal limit so narrowly that it would have little practical effect, arms control advocates say. So I just think it's funny how in this world today, I mean, it's really the big powers. It's the US, it's Russia. I don't know why Australia is part of that, but okay. Israel and also China, they're the ones being like, yeah, we don't need rules. Or if there are rules, like this one specific rule that China wants to probably, put in there to have some kind of advantage. So it's funny because the New York Times article goes on and talks about all these other countries that are like, yeah, we don't want this. We want some kind of regulation before we move forward with this. But it's all the superpowers that are like, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, well, we've learned how much international law counts in the past few years.
Well, yeah, it's just funny how it's the retreat from globalism that we saw post-COVID has gotten these nations all amped up, and they're all, flexing now and fighting each other and showing how powerful they are. And in the context of robots and AI and everything, wasn't this all inevitable? Isn't that what you've been saying, Basil? It's all inevitable, man. So it is written.
So it is written, so it shall be.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a Flippy update for the day, folks. Fun little detail before we move on. We got the Missouri Freedom Initiative in the chat on the Rumble.
Hey,
there we go. Radio station is 101.3 FM.
All right.
So check it out, Missouri people.
Cool.
I wonder if that's Patrick. Patrick, if that's you, hello. If you're somebody else, also hello. All right, moving on.
Oh, hold on. I got faders down.
We will launch a new age.
I am innocent. Innocent.
They're coming after me.
They love killing.
Artificial intelligence.
All right. Got a couple stories here. And welcome to my crazy brain. Business Insider to kick things off here. Former Google engineer and Trump pardonee Anthony Levandowski relaunches his AI church. And of course, we talked about him. I think it was 2016, 2017, something like that. Yeah, way of the future. Anthony Levandowski, a pioneer of self-driving cars and controversial Silicon Valley figure, announced the return of his AI church in an episode on Bloomberg's AI IRL podcast. Oh gosh, AI IRL podcast.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have you listened to the AI IRL pod? How many people listen to that thing? Levandowski started.
I don't know. I can look it up.
Yeah, you should. Levandowski started his, quote, Way of the Future church in 2015 while he was working as an engineer on Google's self-driving project Waymo. While the original church was shut a few years later, Levandowski's new venture already has, quote, a couple thousand people who are trying to build a, quote, spiritual connection with AI, he said, per Bloomberg. Quote, here we're actually creating things that can see everything, be everywhere, know everything, and maybe help us and guide us in a way that normally you would call God, Levandowski said.
Yeah.
I have like the biggest facepalm moment right now. Adding that his aim was to help people gain a deeper understanding of AI and allow more people to have a say in how the technology is used. So, it's funny because he's making the point that the big point that I'm going to make in Age of Deceit 4. The cat's out of the bag, Basil. It's not really that crazy of a point, but the counterfeit ledger of life. I mean, he's describing it. He's describing, hey, this ledger that's just going to keep track of everything. It's going to know everything. It's going to help us. I mean, I don't know how clearer it can be for people, even outside of religion, to be like, oh, we're building something that's supposed to replace God and religion. Isn't there a thing in the Bible that says something about that, or something along those lines? Quote, how does a person in rural America relate to this? What does this mean for their job? He said. I like how he's reaching out to rural America, which, with the way the evangelical church is being somewhat, deconstruct is not the right word. It's sort of crumbling in certain areas. It's an interesting target there, rural America. Quote, Way of the Future is a mechanism for them to understand and participate and shape the public discourse as to how we think technology should be built to improve you. Interesting take there. Very,
that's the one.
Very Crowleyan in a sneaky way. It's not really obvious,
transhuman.
But transhuman. But do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Levandowski's church first came under the spotlight in 2017 when he became embroiled in a high-profile court case after he was accused of stealing trade secrets. Later pleaded not guilty, and there's a whole thing with the Trump there. So it's interesting that the Trump thing is fascinating to me. That one of his pardonees is Anthony Levandowski, the guy who's starting an AI church that wants to replace God. And it's an interesting side-by-side to do this Business Insider story with another Business Insider story that came out a few days ago. Here's what happens if Donald Trump dies while running in the 2024 presidential election.
Okay, quite the jump, but all right, let's see what happens.
Well, yeah.
Just because I did it. AI IRL is not charted in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
It's only charted in Australia, Croatia, and Poland. And
that's why the U.S. could report on it. This is a Smith-Munn thing.
It has one episode on Apple Podcasts, and that episode is 2 minutes long, and that episode came out in May of 2023. So,
is that the Anthony Levandowski interview? It's 2 minutes. I don't know. It's probably some paywall.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe they just have a YouTube show and they're calling it a podcast.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. All right. So, and I'll tie together the reason for this Donald Trump dies potential story. The article's not that interesting. It just lays out, if he dies here, this is what will happen. Basically, there are currently 8 declared candidates, including Trump on the GOP side. If Trump were to die before January 1st, 2024, there would likely be other Republicans who would jump into the race. If he died during the primary season, which ends in mid-June, some states may postpone their scheduled primaries. There's some precedent to this with post-COVID-19. If Trump died after the last primary contest, but before the Republican National Convention, the other GOP presidential candidates would have to make a case to every state delegation at the convention for why they should be the party's nominee. And if Trump secured a GOP nomination but died between the convention and Election Day 2024, the RNC would convene to select another presidential candidate. Okay, so all right, great. They're not terribly interesting, pretty boring. But here's the thing. I've noticed a lot of conversation recently on the social medias popping up again, the idea that QAnon was AI. And, there's some markers for that. Just in my thinking, if you connect a large language model because it's all input output, whatever you put into it, you're going to get some kind of output from it. That's how this AI system works. It's not sentient or anything, at least the way, the things operate now. And so if they connect a database of like all these conspiracy theory shows and blogs and books and all this kind of stuff mixed in our Christian type of stuff, like from people like us, right? Then they would spit out these conspiracy type of, secret coded type of language that gets people all riled up. It would make sense if somebody's running that to come up with it. But the greater theory here of the sort of Donnie Darko theory is he's been very vocal about the idea that Trump might be the Antichrist and he might die, and if he dies then there's going to be an image built that he's going to fulfill the image of the beast prophecy, and who knows, I don't know if that's all a thing that's going to play out. But given the Q thing, and if it is AI, I mean, it would be weird to be like, oh, Trump's dead and then but he lives. The Q heads get all crazy and they're like, he lives in this AI, Trump GPT. He's just everything you thought about him. He's still alive in the thing. The timing of the death and the timing of products like that will be interesting to see. I've always my theory, and this again, this is an uninformed theory. So, and it probably is not going to happen. So, just this is for entertainment purposes only. Is that if Trump dies, the mainstream media will report that he dies. And it'll come at a point that they won't be able to really change much of the ballots, and it's going to cause upheaval because it's not going to be true. Trump's going to hop on Truth Social and be like, I'm here, I'm still alive, it's fake news. And it'll just cause this chaos right around election time. So I don't know. I don't know what the timing of that would have to be to make it like truly as chaotic as possible. And I don't think that's what's going to happen. But, hey, we're a year away. What are we going to do? We're just going to sit here and pontificate if Trump's going to die?
I know the article is strange.
It's strange.
The sad part about the article, and it is boring. I mean, you read the thing and it's just like, if he dies before the primaries, somebody else does the thing. If he dies before election day, then the Republicans will have somebody else do the thing. Yeah. Like, that's the whole article. But the fact that they wrote it at all, and it's on Business Insider, which, as we've tracked before, has some strange connections to intelligence agencies. I mean, at least that's the only thing that fills in the gaps from our research. Then, first of all, this is sort of a meme being planted by intelligence agencies, or it's a response to like Google Analytics or something, like the search terms for what if Trump dies. This is just something to capture that traffic.
That's possible.
Either way, it's kind of strange.
It is strange, and it does have a future callback kind of thing. Like, put this out there now so people can reference it later for something.
So, a lot of people on the internet, ever heard of it, are batting around the idea that, they don't think that there will be a 2024 election.
Oh, of course.
And that can take many forms. Either, it gets called off because we're in wartime, or Trump gets kicked off the ballots, in which case that's not even a real election, if there's just one option.
Yeah.
So whatever, a lot of people have different
I live in
theories
California.
about
That's not true. It can happen.
What? That
it doesn't matter. Well, no. I'm saying just in general. A lot of California elections have been, hey, do you want this Democrat or this other Democrat? Like, there's not even Republicans on the ballot. Yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, so you're saying in the case that Trump is incapacitated or dies before the election and then shows up on social media.
I'm not saying he dies. I'm saying the mainstream will report his death. But that's what thing is going to be confusing.
Like false reporting. They have obituaries ready to go.
Right.
And sometimes they accidentally post the obituaries.
Something like that. I mean, he doesn't have to actually die to create the chaos and the mistrust and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's too useful, it
would be an easy way to confuse everybody. That's for sure.
I mean, the person who hits go on that poll scenario would have to be so just evil, and their heart must be so dark, to be like, all right, we're rolling this out. We're rolling this Trump died thing out. He's not dead, sir. Just do it. We're doing it for the democracy or something,
Yeah, we're doing it to save democracy.
Yeah.
Well, it is a simple answer to a complex question.
Okay. I'm sorry. Let me tie one more aspect of this back to the whole Anthony Levandowski thing, launching his AI church thing. If part of his product line or whatever it might be, is tied in with a sort of a image of Trump. He's a guy who let him off the hook. He owes him something.
Okay, yeah, he's got the Trump influence.
He's got the Trump touch on him in some way. So again, I know it's not like a very tight. The pins are across the board. Whatever the thing, the analogy, the thing.
Sure,
Basil.
Yeah.
Continue. Artificial intelligence.
The danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot.
That's right. Just some quick artificial intelligence news. We were following last week Sam Altman and his rise and fall at OpenAI. We covered it the last News Talk episode. A lot of chicanery, a lot of drama, a lot of crazy stuff. He got fired from OpenAI. He got hired at Microsoft. And
who's invested in OpenAI. So it's
in the end, well, Time.com is reporting here, Sam Altman returns as OpenAI CEO. Here's how it happened.
Sam 2.0.
Yeah, long story short, the board ousted Sam Altman without even telling Microsoft that was the plan. Microsoft owns like 49% of the company, so this was a big hullabaloo. And long story short, pretty much the entire board, with the exception of one person, the board that fired Sam Altman, all got canned or stepped down or whatever. There's an entirely new board, and Sam Altman is returned as CEO of OpenAI. Okay, just a lot of drama, a lot of corporate drama, seemingly for no reason. But one interesting detail is the former chairman of the board, the guy who was in charge of the board at the time of the firing of Sam Altman. Not only that, the guy who delivered the news directly to Altman that he was fired, this fella or person named Ilya Sutskever. Ilya Sutskever. And they have stepped down. They're no longer on the board. However, they are at the company still. Well, some interesting stuff has been coming out about this person. And one of the most interesting, in my opinion, comes from Futurism. It's being mirrored on Yahoo News right here. And it says, OpenAI employees say firm's chief scientist has been making strange spiritual claims. Okay. Longtime Canary Cry listeners, tell me if this sounds familiar. Why does it feel like everybody at OpenAI has lost their mind? In what's arguably turning into the hottest AI story of the year, former AI CEO Sam Altman was ousted, blah, 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 and now he's back. A key character in the spectacle has been OpenAI chief scientist and board member Ilya Sutskever, who, according to The Atlantic, likes to burn effigies and lead ritualistic chants at the company, and appears to have been one of the main drivers behind Altman's ousting. But clearly, he almost immediately regretted his decision in a bizarre attempt to save face just days later. And they have the quotes from him. I deeply regret my participation in the board's actions. The entire situation is baffling. OpenAI, which is quickly approaching a $90 billion valuation, has been thrown into a deepening crisis by its overarching nonprofit arm. And they kind of go through the nonprofit stuff. But here's this. In the meantime, we're getting closer than ever. We're getting a closer than ever peek at what makes OpenAI's power players tick. Case in point, Sutskever has established himself as an esoteric spiritual leader at the company, or The Atlantic, cheering on the company's efforts to realize artificial general intelligence, AGI, a hazy and ill-defined state when AI models have become as or more capable than humans, or maybe, according to some, even godlike. His frenemy, Altman, has long championed attaining AGI as OpenAI's #1 goal, despite warning about the possibility of an evil AI outsmarting humans and taking over the world for many years. Still, The Atlantic's new details are bizarre, even by the standard of tech industry wackadoos. And that's another thing you got to keep in mind. All of these Silicon Valley leaders, quote unquote, are absolutely bonkers. They're bonkers in their personal lives and their relationships and their everything, including their business religion they're starting here.
Well, but it sounds like he's even more like he's pushing the boundaries. Like we're the rest of the country is sort of feeling the pain with Altman. You know, they're kind of sympathetic towards his situation because it's like, oh, look at this crazy guy, the crazy guy.
Yeah. So keep in mind
raising the bar
for the esoteric and occult ancestry of rocketry, Operation Paperclip, the cultists, the occultists at least. who have been at the head of so many technological sort of advancements. Quote, feel the AGI. Feel the AGI.
Oh, we got this. We got this.
Employees
feel the AGI.
There you go. Feel the AGI. Everybody now. Employees reportedly chanted, per The Atlantic, a refrain that was led by Sutskever himself, the chief scientist. And they keep saying he's chief scientist, which he is. But I think it's interesting to keep reiterating that he's chief scientist, meaning he's high priest of scientism at OpenAI, the company that is revolutionizing the world with LLMs and artificial intelligence for any situation. But, we've talked about the religion of scientism, how it's manifested, especially over the past few years. And there is no atheism anymore. You are, either Christian, or maybe you're Islamic or Jewish, or you're scientistic.
It's not atheism, it's AI-theism.
There you go. The chief scientist even commissioned a wooden effigy to represent an unaligned AI that works against the interest of humanity, only to set it on fire.
Whoa.
So he literally had a cremation of care against...
That is interesting.
Against bad AIs.
Bad AI absorb in this piece of wood, which I will burn later.
Yeah. Which, look, is silly, and especially it's sort of lost a lot of its sort of esoteric and occult significance because it became so kind of transparent through, of course, Bohemian Grove and Alex Jones's work on that. It kind of became a joke for a second. But the cremation of care, the burning of an effigy of your enemy, I mean, this is long-standing occult practice. This is, whether or not it does anything, the occultists definitely believe it does. So he's leading ceremonial and ritual magic going on inside the AI company, which, look, we've quoted Elon, we've quoted the CERN guys, we've quoted these guys for years who all have been saying out loud, we're opening a portal to the demonic realm. A demon comes out of the portal. They say these things, but we're crazy conspiracy theorist podcasters for mentioning it because, of course, he was just being metaphorical. He was just making an illustration. No, he wasn't. This guy is literally burning an effigy to a sort of bad version of the product he's trying to build at his corporation. So cremation of care of the unaligned AI. In short, instead of focusing on meaningfully advancing AI tech in a scientifically sound way, some board members sound like they're engaging in weird spiritual claims. Sutskever's strange behavior may also help explain at least some of this weekend's chaos. At the time of writing, we still don't know exactly where OpenAI and Microsoft stand. Well, we do now. This was written last week. Let's see here. For now, we can only sit and watch as the chaos unfurls.
Keep mentioning the chaos there, as if the chaos worked. The magic worked.
Of course, the chaos magic, most popular form of magic practice nowadays. Given the roller coaster over the last couple of days, it's more than likely we'll see a shuffle of OpenAI's nonprofit board, if the company even lives to tell the tale, that is. There's a good chance that the board members who united to boot Altman last week drank just a little too much of the AGI Kool-Aid and got spooked by the possibility that humanity was hurtling toward the singularity.
Yeah. This is interesting. They're actually labeled doomers. I was in a Twitter X Spaces just listening to Balaji and some of these, high tech VC types that are plugged into Silicon Valley. And they were talking about this Altman issue. And a lot of them were just saying these doomers, man, they don't understand AI is not anywhere near AGI. And these doomers are ruining everything because they think it's all just, going to get out of hand. And, it's a very interesting thing to listen to the Silicon Valley types, try to peddle rationalism or just tamper down the fear mongering happening from some of these doomer types.
Which is interesting to watch because they use the same strategy every time. They use the same strategy to straw man, really any opinion that goes against the corporate line on these things.
Right.
Taking your opponent's argument to its absurd logical
conclusion.
end. Yeah, because Elon himself being sort of the biggest doomer, and for many years. We got babies on the loose, folks.
Babies
so
loose.
I just hopped over to the Atlantic article real quick just to see if there was any, super crazy stories about, the wood
Stuff
effigy.
we missed.
I'm just trying to see if he sacrificed any goats or chickens or something. Doing a word search for chicken. No, not showing up. Blood.
Okay. Blood, chicken.
It's very
Abramovich.
Yeah, right. Spirit cooking.
You're gonna find out he's related to an Abramovich. Yeah, something like that. Okay.
Not seeing a lot of it. The reason I didn't bring the Atlantic article particularly is because it's very long, very dense, and is not just focused on the sort of spiritual cult aspect.
Of course. That's a lot of other stuff. That's like a given according to the Atlantic. It's like, yeah, he's got that stuff too. But the drama is what's important. All right. Well, let's spend. Or you want to? You got something?
Sorry. One last thing.
Okay.
I mean, so far in this episode, we've got, AI.
Perhaps invoking digital aliens. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got the religion of AI, which is talking about AI as a god, or at least god-like, which I think is interesting as it informs the Pentagon's moves towards killbots, because the idea is, a robot shouldn't decide who lives or dies. A human should decide who lives or dies. Well, if the AI is godlike or is God, according to your religion, then, letting an AI decide who lives and dies is just like letting God decide who lives or dies.
Yeah.
It's sort of, you take all these different angles to the broader conversation, whether it's in tech, whether it's in mainstream media, whether it's, in the government apparatus. You start, Elon talks about X as like basically a hive mind. You're able to look into the sum of all human opinion, and he sort of wants to use it that way. Well, if you do the same thing, just reading the news and taking the opinions from the government side, the tech side, the socio-political side, all this kind of stuff, you see that AI really, as seen as at least godlike, if not God, allows the justification to let the bots decide who lives or dies. And perhaps even with your Trump dying before the election, or fake reporting of Trump dying before the election, AI has the potential to revivify, to resurrect Trump or something in a way, whether it's an AI version of Trump, or AI takes over Trump's social media, or whatever the story is. You really do have across the board artificial intelligence being the answer to, it's kind of the god of the gaps of secular, geopolitical, technical, transhumanist, technocratic dystopia.
And if these people are willing to go to AI God, it's almost an easier step for everyone to do digital aliens. It's kind of like, if there's we're making God out of AI. Well, it makes sense that maybe there's some advanced civilization from the past that is sleeping in digital form, and we shall awaken them.
Or even the sort of Nephilim concept of gray aliens being more biosuits for an intelligence. Well, now there's talk of grays being biosuits for artificial intelligence.
There you go.
Sort of working drones of the hive mind AI.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all sort of we don't even have to connect these dots anymore, because
they're so
the
obvious.
public is, the powers that be, at least, are doing it for us.
Well, for those who may not know, some extra biblical text, I think particularly Enoch, but also Josephus and several other people have commented on how the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim from the flood are the New Testament and partially Old Testament demons.
Right.
So, it's a very interesting take on, they're spirits that didn't belong in a body, so their body was taken out with the flood, and now they're just roaming around until the end. And so they will try to manifest, and maybe AI is one of those vehicles.
Yeah, maybe.
I have a really stinky
Who
son.
knows?
My son.
Only time will tell.
AI is going to get us all, but my son is very stinky right now. He smells very stinky. Yeah, I might need to step aside to take care of the stinkiness.
Okay. Well, let's see. Maybe should I do a story? I mean, this is when we are going to take a quick break and thank some people.
Yeah.
But
let's thank him real quick, and maybe we can get through this. I don't know.
We'll go through it quick.
Okay.
If not, I'll find some sort of story going around to talk about while you do that.
Okay. Well, we do have some producers to thank for their treasure, right? Let's do that first. Or do you want to do speak
Yeah,
first?
we do.
Yeah, let's do that. Boom, boom, boom.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
That's right, folks. You know the deal. We only exist because the listeners, our producers, that's you, put value back in. And remember, it's not just about money. It's also with your time, your talent. People help us out on the back end with so many things. And, of course, we need even more. The needs never end over here. So if you want to join the family, the back end family around here, just go to canarycry.support and scroll all the way down to the bottom. You'll see a form. Fill out that form. That's a good way to get in touch. Or, of course, just send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com. But we got a few more financial producers to thank who came in under the executive producer amount. And let's start by thanking Sir Marty K, not of the wrong timeline.
Thank you, Sir Marty K.
Yeah, he comes in for $33.33.
Nope, why didn't it go?
Illuminatus!
There we go.
I could have sworn that he was on a streak, but I don't see it. I made a whoopsie daisy. So if you're on a streak, sorry, Sir Marty K will make up for it. And he sends a note here. Says, hello, fellas and my fellow Canarians. Hope everything is well. And for you American Canarians, I hope that you get a wonderful Thanksgiving. So, Mr. Shimura, have you gotten a new P.O. box yet? I was looking around on your website, but I could only find the old one, the Canary Cry radio site. What's the deal, Gons? Do we have another P.O. box?
I forgot about it. Thank you for reminding me.
No, we got to do that this week.
I need some accountability, Basil. You got to bug me about it.
Yeah, I'll bug you.
I forget.
We'll have a P.O. box by the end of the week, folks.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. Oh, yeah. By the way, down below is a link to the Danish government website, the section about child benefits in Denmark. It's going to blow your Americans' minds away. That's for sure. You should both look at it when you get the time. I will. I will look at it. Yeah. I have it up in a tab. Thank you very much, Sir Marty K. And yes, thank you to everybody. Apparently, we have a whole lot of European Canarians who are keeping us abreast at I think it was the Netherlands with their recent sort of far-right takeover of the government, otherwise known as an election. So I'm going to look into that and would love to report on the movement. It looks as if it's sort of mirroring the Argentinian movement to the right. So we've got this sort of global movement.
Yeah.
We're definitely keeping track of it. We'll put some together.
Yep.
Thank you, Sir Marty K. Not of the wrong timeline.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Next up, we got Sir Jacob B.
Hey, Sir Jacob B.
Yeah. If you don't mind, pop over to the round table and tell me his full name here in a second. But Sir Jacob B comes in for $22.22. 22.
Yep.
A fanny pack full of ducks there. Thank you. He's on a 3-episode streak, which means Sir Jacob B is heating up.
He's heating up.
He comes in with an update here. Brother Paul Washer, he was set to be released home yesterday. Pain management is a big prayer need. This will be a months-long recovery. Pray the Lord would draw near and keep him and strengthen him. Pray also for Heart Cry in his absence. Okay, so Paul Washer, this sounds like good news.
Yeah, well, I suppose we should call the producers.
Oh, sure.
Producers, assemble!
That's right, producers. They're producers just like you, but they pray. So let's pray for Paul Washer. I was unfamiliar with this fella. But you are not, and many of the producers are not. So, of course,
I think
pray for his continued health.
Is this Sir Jacob Highline Haas in Night of the Issachar Pursuit?
Yes, it is.
There we go.
There he is.
Thank you.
Okay. Last but not least on this list, we've got the good Doctor Who Dundas.
Hey, thank you, Doctor Who Dundas.
Comes in with a pocket full of sevens. He's on a 30-episode streak.
30. Yes.
Almost that 33, Doctor.
Yep.
And he says here, 6 months since I dumped that cursed bottle down the drain and left the empty well of alcohol in my life. God is good. Happy Monday, y'all.
Wow. Hallelujah.
Well done, sir.
There you go,
Keep it
buddy. Well done. You're going to get your 6-month coin. I don't know if he's doing the program. He's in the program or not, but 6 months is a big deal. We're very proud of you, Dr. Who Dundas.
Yeah, keep it up. Keep it up.
That concludes the list of financial producers who support the show in the amount of $7.77 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We get a few more people who came in under that. We'll thank them in their streak, starting with Sir Morv, Night of the Burning Chariots, 303 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Sir Morv.
We got Malik W, 44 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Malik W.
Veronica D, 333 episodes in a row.
Woo.
Very impressive. Well done, Veronica D.
Thank you, Veronica D.
We got Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, 357 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
We got Dame Gale, Canary, Whisperer, and Lady of X's and O's, 328 in a row.
Thank you, Dame Gale. Wasn't Dame Gale and Veronica D like tied for streak at one point?
Things got complicated.
Things got complicated, yeah. It's okay. Yeah. Thank you, Dame Gale.
Next, last but not least, we've got the one, the only, Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
372 episodes in a row. Thank you, Sir Casey.
That's insane.
All right. That concludes the list of financial producers who came in over the past 3 episodes. We appreciate the support very much, especially those who sign up for the supply drop or the T-shirt council. Those are the ones who are committing to support the show on a monthly basis. And I said it and forget it. And the supply droppers have been supply dropped. Their supply drops are either in the mail or in their hands, and people are very excited about what they receive for just supporting the show that they would want to support anyways. And they sign up for $33.33 a month because we like making fun of the weirdos. And in return, as a thank you, we send them free gifts every 3 months, once per quarter. And you can do that too, folks. If it weren't for the supply drop and the T-shirt counselors, the show would not be viable. We would not be able to do as much as we do at the quality or lack thereof that we do it. So thank you to the supply droppers. Go to canarycrysupply.com to sign up to really get on the team to keep us alive if you appreciate and value what we do here.
Yep.
Okay, that's
All
it
right.
for me.
Go to canarycry.support.
Canarycry.support.
And let's do SpeakPipe.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
Go to canarycrynewstalk.com. Go to any of the pages. Look for a green tab on the right side or the bottom, usually on the right, and it'll give you a little pop-up that allows you to record an audio message to us through your device up to 90 seconds. Let us know if it's a private message, and we will keep it private. I believe we had a message that I couldn't tell if it was a private message or not, because at the beginning, I think this individual said...
Yeah, I thought we were going to skip that one.
Yeah, okay. There you go. All right, we're skipping it.
Yeah. So
Okay.
somebody sent us a message and said it was for us. That made us think that it wasn't to play on the show. But if you would like us to, let us know.
Yep.
But otherwise, we got the message.
We got
Thank
the message.
you very much.
Thank you. All right. We're going to start off with James.
Hope for today's world. Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Proverbs 19:21. Many are the plans of the mind of man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. Isaiah 55:11. So shall my words be that goes forth from my mouth. It shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish what I please, and it shall prosper in the things for which I sent it. Matthew 24:35. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. Have hope, my friends. Peace out.
Yeah, it's wonderful. What a good use of the voice message.
Yeah, let's drop some scripture.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. SGLD.
Hi, you guys. SGLD here. I noticed you guys was ranting and raving about sports just like boomers. I used to be a football fan, but it never put any food on my table. Wait, I'm lying. I bought a hot dog at a football game once. Then I realized idolizing these people that make millions and millions to play a kid's game because I have to escape reality is half of what's gotten us into all this trouble. Because from escaping reality with sports, now people want to escape the reality of reality. With that, I'd like to leave you with this chant. Bricka bracka, sis boom ba. Bugs Bunny, rah rah rah. God love you, I love you, and 33, set, hike, and have a nice day.
I feel like some maybe boomer sleeper cells out there just got activated by some sort of code phrase. I think Silly Goose Elder Dave, maybe just gave some sort of command in a language that is far from our comprehension, guys.
Yeah, I believe everybody who lined up on the 12 men on either side who lined up were triggered by some of those play calls there. Maybe that was part of the whole triggering. There's boomer football players all over the country that just got triggered, and they're singing. They're screaming, go to canarycry.party. Huh. Thank you, Silly Goose Elder Dave. Which, by the way,
got such a beautiful mind, God.
Thanks. All right, that's it for the Speak Pipe. Let's spend a few moments here to thank some producers coming in with their talent. We had a good handful of producers coming in. We appreciate all of you. Help us build the culture behind the community here through visuals, audio, anything you can do, really, that's a medium of art. And we're going to kick it off with some audio production.
Audio production.
Okay, I believe our first audio producer today is Jonathan F.
Jonathan F.
And he sent in. Wait a minute. Where's my? Oh, that's right. There were some issues over here. Okay, I think I'll be okay. Wait a minute. Here we go. The Blade Runner. He didn't have a note. He just said Blade Runner Samurai. Oh boy, it's not playing. My systems, Basil, my systems.
Yeah, I'm not even seeing.
No, he came in.
Blade Runner Samurai on the list anywhere, Gonzo.
What are you talking about?
I think you're losing your mind over there.
Are you serious?
Where do you see Blade Runner Samurai? Or is that just the name of the file, maybe?
I think it's the name of the file. Maybe we played this already.
It was from the one from the 21st.
Oh, maybe we did play it. Maybe that's what
look at these dates, man. No, we have not done a show since the 22nd. Okay, yeah, maybe.
No. We didn't do the 22nd. The 20th. No,
right.
I'm right.
That's what I mean.
Okay, we're right. Okay, here we go. Jonathan F.
Liberty and malice for all.
There we go. There we go.
Is that your child screaming auto-tune?
I think so.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Good job. Thank you, Jonathan F. Appreciate that. We also have something from Little Owen. Thank you, Little Owen. He came in with a note here. Just throwing this out as possible canarycry.art jingle. Gifted. Hold on. There are so many gifted artists here. Oh my gosh. Why am I having problems today? Okay, hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. He had two. Okay, this is why it was so confusing. Little Owen sent in, he's got two things here. The first one says, just throwing this out as a possible canarycry.art jingle. There's so many great gifted artists here. God bless. And here's what that sounds like. Where's my canarycry.art jingle? Here it is.
Canarycry.art, canarycry.art.
Oh, I like bends my brain.
That's good. That's great.
That's fun. I like it. Yeah.
Thank you. You know what? I just realized that Lil Owen has done lots of music.
Yeah.
I can't think of another jingle he's done. And this is great. His style is a great style for fill in some jingle holes here for us.
I'm pretty sure I think he's done a couple jingles. I might have to go. He's sent us a lot of stuff, so we'll have to kind of go through it. He would know, off the top of his head. But yeah, thank you very much, Little Owen. And he also has a second piece here with a note. Gons, we still want to see you drumming on a show. You'll probably need the babysitter for that one, though. Basil, how are your goats? We have 12 on our humble little homestead. I find the goats are better buddies than dogs. Love y'all. Also, Dove, you're awesome.
I agree. The goats are way better than the dogs. Huge fan. Actually, I have a pretty dramatic. Did I tell my very dramatic goat story last week?
I do not believe you told the goat story.
I don't think I did.
Last week, no.
I've got a great goat story for next episode.
Okay. So you're saving it for the next one. Okay. So here's the other track here. I believe this is a whole song. It is Psalm 143, verses 9 and 10. Oh, yeah, you'll have to wait till the end of the episode to hear his sweet voice fully come in on that one.
Yes.
But there you go. Thank you very much, Lil Owen. We'll play the whole track at the end of the show. And we have some art.
One art, please.
And per usual, we're kicking it off with Sir Dove.
One art piece from Dove.
And Sir Dove comes in with a note along with his art, which I am going into full screen so people can see the full thing. He says, peace for this week's Bible artwork. I did an illustration for 1 Thessalonians 5:18. And everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. Gave a little shout out to Pizza Rat on this one. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins.
Indeed, he did. In the background, we've got a photo of a very complicated sort of a dilapidated building type of thing, but we got some red brick there, piles of red brick. We got plants growing everywhere. We got some paint peeling in the front, and a very pleasant pink and purple font. It says, give thanks in all things. And down there at the bottom, laying on the pile of bricks, we've got, oh, such a jolly looking Pizza Rat, just lounging, enjoying his time, eating a piece of pizza.
Did we lose you? I think we lost you for a second.
No.
Yeah. Well,
you lost me, I think. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sir Dove. Appreciate it. As always, fantastic work. All right. Moving on. We have a piece from Mark A. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, he needs a...
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. This is from Mark A. He says, shalom, boys. Anytime, any place.
This is great. So we've got a scene, a professional wrestling scene here, in In the background, we've got a whole crowd. They're going wild. Their arms are up in the air. At the announcer's table, we've got an advertisement, of course, for the 33 flavors of the Canary Cry News Talk energy drink. And sitting at the announcer's booth, you've got Gons losing his mind. You've got Basil, the googly-eyed robotic arm, wearing a hat of some kind. That's nice. That might be a reference to something I don't understand. But, wow, I just clicked. There we go. In the ring, which, of course, is emblazoned with the Canary Cry News Talk seal on the floor of the ring, you've got two very wrestling guys. Do you know who these are supposed to be, or shall I describe them as they appear?
I think it's supposed to be the two gentlemen who got into a little tiff in the the hearing. Was it Senate? I forget what it was.
No, it was a union boss hearing or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bernie the
congressman and the union boss were threatening to fight each other, and thank goodness that good old referee, what's his face? What is his face? I can't remember his name. What is the congressman's name? Gons, are you even there? He's not there. Okay, so we've got two wrestlers. One of them is is wearing orange shorts. He's wearing cowboy boots with spurs. He is. I wish I knew more professional wrestling speak, because he seemed to have clotheslined the lights out of this individual wearing a white sort of leotard with that's a logo of a state or something. I can't quite get close enough. Maybe Gons can tell me what that is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to, if I had a moment, I had to chase my son down here for a second, but
yeah, no, that's okay. I'm trying to identify the logos on these guys.
Yeah, he was, I forget what it was. Maybe I can just find the story.
I know. I'm looking for the logos, though. Do you recognize these things at all?
I don't, but I know what it's in reference to, because he represented some organization.
The union.
It was something. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can just find it.
He's not listening to me, folks. Well, as we figure that out, we've got a referee. Who is the referee? Why can't I remember this guy's name?
It's Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Why can't I remember Bernie Sanders?
I don't know.
Bernie Sanders is the referee down in the bottom left of the ring, and he is yelling and pointing at the QAnon shaman who happens to be watching the fight. Maybe he's ready to get tagged in. Who knows? But he's got his horned helmet. He's got his spear with the American flag on it. And this might be the most anticipated American wrestling match or street fight to ever happen in the 21st century. So thank you very much for the art. It's incredible, Mark A.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it here. Yeah, couldn't find it. All right. Well, yeah, thanks very much, Mark A. Yeah, everyone knows. Appreciate it. We have more here from Elias. Elias came in. He's maybe one of our younger producers. And Elias with the note here: epic battle of God's robot versus Satan's robot as Basil and Gons look on from heavenly places in their full armor of God, drawn on a road trip while listening to CCNT. Love you guys.
Cool. This is very cool. All right. They're doing it. They're taking our advice. They are settling all disputes via giant robot battle. And in this case, we've got God Robot and Satan Robot. God Robot is big and shiny and gold, wearing a crown, got a big sword, very cool. On the left, we've got Satan Robot, a little bit more scary looking, got some red and black. He's got a gun for an arm and a flail for his other arm, and he's not messing around. They are locked in combat. Satan Robot has 33 emblazoned on his chest, and up on a cloud above the fray, we got Basil and Gons looking all happy, wearing their gold suits of armor, just enjoying the show, just enjoying watching God Robot do his thing, man. This is very good. Thank you very much, Elias.
Thank you.
Well done, my friend.
Yeah, keep it up. Want to see more.
Producer Elias, folks.
All right. I believe we have a couple microfictions. Oh, now, Basil, we didn't talk about this beforehand. There's
there's a couple of things to talk about.
Yeah.
Number one, there's still 2 more pieces of art.
Okay.
Did you not load them up?
Let me look.
We got one from Sir Darren and we got one from Pizza Rat.
Okay. Let's see. I'm seeing the one from Sir Darren. I think we did this one, right? This was the Executive Master Shill one. So yeah, he says, congratulations to Sir LX Protocol V2 Knight of the Brian Protocol for executive producing 33 episodes and becoming Master Shill for CCNT. Yes.
Yes.
And,
we couldn't possibly have done that one.
We did because we did it during the show, during the actual thing. So here we go.
But it came in after any show that we've done. This was, oh, you mean earlier this show? You showed it.
Yes, earlier this show.
I understand. I understand. Yes. But it's brand new. He also made us a GIF of it and a video for it. This is awesome. So anybody who wants to make their way to 33 Executive Producer Strig, Executive Producer Illuminated Lizard Master Shill, you've got a magnificent gold badge here that you will receive when we thank you on the show. Very well done. Thank you, Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda.
Yep. Thank you very much. Now, you said there was one from Pizza Rat?
We got one from Pizza Rat
as well. I am not seeing it on the...
I see. This is what I get. I should not assume that you go through the
I do have it. I do have it.
Spreadsheet as meticulously as I do.
No, I have it. I have it. Here it is.
I know you have it.
Yeah. Where did it go?
I have it. Where did it go?
I just had it. It just disappeared on me. What in the world?
Where did it go? Well, the note says this is just the first of some concept drawings for the Canaryverse. Don't worry, Gons. You're next week. Also, I have some others coming down the pike of Runk Smash, Sir Dove, out of Respeltia, Stefan S., Pizza Rat, and other residents of the Canarium. Wow. He's doing it. He's doing it. That's why you get involved, folks. That's why you produce the show, because someday an artist will render you in the vision of the Canaryverse.
There you go. Yep.
In this wonderful one, we've got, this is funny. The background is of sort of dunes, desert dunes. Back here is in the desert. Blazing across the sky is Canary Cry News Talk, Canaryverse. And here you see and a very attractive looking man with a beard, with a VR headset, with some googly eyes. He's got his hat on backwards. He's got his white shirt with the buttons coming unbuttoned, wearing a long brown leather duster with his short pink shorts. Those calves are rocking, wearing some Crocs, of course, and holding a coyote hole punch. Okay, there you go. Got the coyote hole punch, and in the bottom of the right hand, we got Pizza Rat eating a piece of pizza. The styling of this, the style of Pizza Rat's art is very engaging. It's got a little bit of a taste of like the kind of a punk rock vibe to it, but also very detailed and colorful. I love it. Thank you very much, Pizza Rat. Enjoying it very much.
Yep. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, and it looks very cool. I like it. Is this watercolor, crayon, and pencil, a color pencil, and marker or something?
Yeah, it does like ink. He inks the shading and the outlines and everything in very, very stark ink, and then comes in with the colors. I will say, I say this about all the producers who regularly make art for the show. You can actively watch them master their craft, and Pizza Rat is no exception.
Yep. Fantastic job. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And Basil, yes, Pizza Rat was on my list here. I'm apologies to the producers because little family issue right when we started this whole producer segment, and it's been a little rough, but
yes.
Okay, let's continue on here.
Yes,
we have
can tell you're multitasking with some.
I should not have to multitask this much though, and also not be able to multitask because that's what's happening.
Multitasking is so early 2000s. It's all about single tasking nowadays, folks.
Where's my AI agents taking care of the children? All right. We got a couple microfictions. I did not see one from Rung Smash, Basil. Maybe there was one that was sent in that I'm not aware of.
I did not see one either. No.
Okay. We do have one from Stefan S.
Microfiction.
Tiny.
Microfiction.
BioMyTech announced their AI robotic wearable, the Serpent. Inspired by nature, it gently coils around its friend, providing comfort and absorbing clean energy for its own power. It softly whispers answers to life's unending questions into her ears.
Yeah, very good.
Right.
And this is
it's in reference to the soft bots, the coiling snake-like robots, and in this case has been sort of equipped with some sort of AI assistant. This is wonderful. Thank you, Stefan S.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, isn't it an elephant trunk? Or do they call it a snake? I forget.
There's been a couple different versions, but yes, elephant trunk was also an inspiration. Okay, next up we've got a answer to Pizza Rat's microfiction challenge, where Pizza Rat has challenged himself and any other Canarian to create one microfiction a week for 6 weeks, and producer Jolmes has answered the call. Now, producer Jolmes sent in a macrofiction, which I am maybe assuming that we are to cut up into microfiction sizes, or I'm not sure, but I will read the first stanza of Jolmes's microfiction as an answer to the Pizza Rat microfiction challenge. A cold and open outer space with the stars spread out vertically, echoing a symphony of silence. They illuminate the ships, twirling around each other with battered hulls, shattered wings, and iron debris swimming alongside them. Amidst them are the corpses, frozen stiff, limbs littering the halls of a once great communications central. Ooh, ominous.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. Lots of
Thank you very much, producer Jones.
Corpses and limbs.
Yeah.
Always
he did say there's mild parental guidance here, mild depictions of death, and two birds coming up. There's the two birds was a PETA tweet joke. So there you go.
All right. Thank you very much to all the producers coming in with their talent. We really appreciate it. You can go to canarycry.art to submit your artwork. And there's a specific portal there. Just hit the click here to upload art button and upload your art, and we'll see it and we'll share it on the show.
There you go. We walked you through the process. And also, we've got a canarycry.art jingle now. Whee!
Oh, that's right. Okay, hold on. It's not fully ready yet, but I can, if you give me a second, I can pull up that.
Walk us through it, buddy. Walk us through it. Keep us posted.
Oh, did I close it? No, I didn't close it. No, I did close it. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Here we go.
Multitasking, folks.
Here we go.
Avoid the multitasking. Canarycry.art. Ooh, tingles. There you go. And of course, if you have any articles you want us to take a look at, to consider for the show, go to canarycry.report. Canarycry.report is the way to get it in front of us. Okay, Gons, what do you got for the end of the show here?
Okay, what do we have here? End of show. 5th generation warfare?
Okay.
They're targeting you. They're targeting you.
5th gen warfare.
Yeah. This is a little bit more particular to my home state here of California, but I think it's interesting, and I'll walk us through some of this. This is coming from NPR. Headline: California joins a growing movement to teach media literacy in schools. California is the latest state in a growing movement across the country to require media literacy education for all grade levels. Now, this sounds appropriate. Yeah, we want our children to be, literate when it comes to media. With the all the propaganda that's been legalized post 2013, and propaganda existed before then too. But you want the children to understand, what's real, what's fake, what's true, what's not. To think critically about the things that are being reported in the news there. And this, this is kind of I'm not going to read this because it's a transcript of a little conversation from All Things Considered. So it's not really the point. I wanted to just dig into the meat. What are they going to teach our children? So I went directly to the websites here, California.gov or ca.gov, media literacy resources. Of course, this has to do with Senate Bill 830 in 2018. Quote, to ensure that young adults are prepared with media literacy skills necessary to safely, responsibly, and critically consume and use social media and other forms of media. So, okay. Again, it doesn't sound that bad. It sounds desirable in this current age that we're in.
Yeah, as usual, depending who's saying it.
Exactly.
What decides whether it's...
Yeah, if we said that, people would be like, yeah, these guys do it all the time. They do it 3 times a week,
That's
on
the
a
whole
show.
thing. We're media literacy around here.
Yeah.
Some of us have literal education in media literacy.
No, the PhDs in media deconstruction.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the PhDs. Those two.
Yeah. So the whole thing, it's supposed to be for K through 12, and they're going to have different levels of different examples of how to do things, and just some things that I noticed here. So there's the whole website here about it. Under the media literacy tab, it says here, media literacy and the concepts surrounding it evolve with changes in technology and society. These definitions from SB 830 and organizations of experts provide a foundation through which to understand media literacy and the ideas connected to it. Now, already, through organizations of experts and through a foundation. So, yes, media literacy, but through the filters of an organization of experts and through foundations, which we'll see in a moment here. That
appeal to authority fallacy.
This just does not help with the whole concept of media literacy if you're just going to, we'll see what's going to happen here. Media literacy is the ability to access, analyze, evaluate, and use media and encompasses the foundational skills that lead to digital citizenship. Now, this I think is incredibly dangerous, because what they are doing here with digital citizenship is saying that, hey, if you don't comply to these media literacy boundaries, you are not, smart enough, you're not educated enough to be considered a proper digital citizen. So I don't like the precedent being set here.
Well, that's the interesting thing. I mean, right there, they're referring to network states.
Yeah,
there's
100%.
Lots of talk about how the nation state as a concept is under threat, and of course, we do know that there are powers working towards that. And part of the whole reset, you can't have individualized nation states if you want a one world government.
Yeah,
and the citizenship problem is solved by network states, which means your citizenship is not of a geographical area or an individual nation state, but of a network. And that network can take many forms. You can think of it like social media platforms, but also the digital citizenry. It is kind of the new term for global citizen.
Yeah. Digital citizenship is a diverse set of skills related to current technology and social media, including the norms of appropriate, responsible, and healthy behavior.
Norms. Gotta love norms.
Norms of appropriate, responsible, and healthy behavior. Okay. These literacies closely relate to information literacy, the ability, quote, to recognize when information is needed and have the ability to locate, evaluate, and use effectively the needed information. It's according to the American Library Association. Now, here's where things get interesting. UNESCO states, UNESCO, the United Nations
classic.
Education, the whole thing, started by Aldous Huxley's brother back in the early, I think it was the 1920s.
Yep.
States that media and information
also the
literacy.
guy who invented advertising.
Quote, combination of knowledge, attitudes, skills, and practices required to access, analyze, evaluate, use, produce, and communicate information and knowledge in creative, legal, and ethical ways that respect human rights. That's what media and information literacy is, Basil. Do you think you and I are media and information literate?
Oh, yeah.
According to UNESCO? I mean, we have combination of
case
knowledge.
For me, I don't know about you.
Well, we both have some attitudes.
All about human rights, baby.
Okay, so what does media literacy skill look like? Here's some examples. Okay, so here's an example. They do it by tier level. So if you're an elementary school student, you use a library catalog to locate a book on recycling, which informs their task of photographing examples of recycling in their neighborhoods to share on their class wiki page. In this example, students are accessing information through the library catalog, using it to inform their task. They're then using media to share information through photography on their class wiki. This involves production, communication, and following norms of online behavior with digital citizenship. They're creating little content creators for the state. Next up, middle schoolers use a spreadsheet to organize data they collect about pets' exercise habits, which they will analyze for a science fair project. In this example, students are using technology to use information effectively. They are then analyzing that information to arrive at conclusions for their project. That project will involve further skills in communication of that information in a particular audience. Let's get to the high schoolers. Locate articles in a database about data privacy, which is the basis for the students' video production that gives recommendations for teens to protect personal information. In this example, students are accessing information through the database and then analyzing that information to produce a video involving communication skills, the topic of data privacy, which includes elements of digital citizenship. So, again, they're creating little content creators, Basil. They're like little YouTubers, state YouTubers.
Well, even worse. Yeah, even worse than just content creators. They're setting the expectations for people's purpose of life.
Right.
Our sort of theory of mind, our theory of life, how to move through that life. And traditionally, if you run into bad information, you just walk away. Don't listen to it. Don't believe it. Or maybe, argue with the person about it. But in this case, they're not like, they're saying, okay, we'll teach you when you see bad information, what do you do? And it's not, present logical reasons why it's not true. Present fact. No, it's become a part of the information network. Like each one of us, it has the power to set the record straight. It's all about these norms. They go back to norms. That's what they didn't like about Trump. Oh, he goes against the norms. All these norms. Well, the norms are there specifically because they keep power where they want power to stay. Norms keep the people down who are down, keeps them down. Those who are at the top, keeps them at the top. That's what norms are. And this is indoctrinating children, not just to stay in their lane, but to then create media to enforce others to stay in their lane. It's really, it's really actually quite, sinister. You can't just take in information. You can't just absorb media. You can't just critically think for yourself. You combat information you're skeptical of by regurgitating and propagating the official, experts' information. It's really making a little army of little digital brown shirts to enforce, the authoritative narrative on everything. It's really actually quite terrifying.
It's worse than it looks. I think people in California are mostly like, yeah, we want this. But you look under the hood and it's like, oh, this is all UN. This is all United Nations stuff. A lot of, you click through some of these resources and you see, PBS, BBC is sort of use these platforms to teach your children media literacy. It's like, wait a minute. You guys are the media that's lying to people.
Yeah, right.
Why are you
You're
the ones
media.
telling?
We need literacy again.
Yeah, they're the ones telling the children how to be literate. It's not very good here. I don't know about that.
Programming these children to be little cannon fodder soldiers in the 5th generation warfare that is, the elite narrative messaging versus, in often cases, the actual truth.
Yeah, and back to the whole my crazy sort of thesis on Trump, and given the context with this, the people would believe the young people will believe that Trump is dead if the BBCs and the APs and all those mainstream outlets report that Trump is dead. Based on their template here, if the media literate person under this system would buy into that. Even if Trump came on Truth Social on video live stream, is like, I'm here, I'm still alive or whatever, it wouldn't matter. And that's what's crazy. It's like, man, wait a minute, this needs to be looked at again. But you look at the Common Sense website. I'm going through some of these links here provided on the website, and it's all UNESCO, it's all UN. I like this here, Youth Forum at UNESCO.org. How to combat misinformation. This year's Youth Forum focuses on the social impact of climate change and the need to achieve an equitable climate transition. The K-pop group 17 took part in special session during the Youth Forum on the organization's headquarters in Paris. So you got your K-pop groups, doing all the propaganda for you.
Yeah, of course.
But this doesn't shock me in terms of its origins, but it did take me back a minute and think like, well, maybe they got some resources that are a little bit more neutral or something to facilitate this. Nope, this is just straight up. They have a link here to the New York Times Learning Network. Don't you think that's a great place to learn media literacy? New York Times Learning Network. I mean, they're responsible for so many headlines and stories.
Well, as usual, I mean, those who have done the deep digging into the American education system, it was literally created to manufacture workers, mindless workers in factories. And this is basically just that digital version of that. The idea of education is public education rather, is literally descendant of like slave training stuff in the Ottoman Empire.
It is.
And then was adopted and explicitly was expressed by the founding fathers of American education that this is to create obedient factory workers. And this is just the digital version. It's to create obedient norm upholders, obedient media flooders. I mean, every little thing. And it's genius too, because if a piece of quote unquote misinformation goes out, name anything, whatever it is, it goes out by one person. And then if every single kid or now adult who comes in contact with that piece of quote unquote misinformation, others might call it truth, it's not just that they'll be like, oh, that's weird. I don't know about that. That doesn't seem true. It's now an army of adults who have grown up in this education program.
The paradigm,
flooding the information space with
PBS said it. PBS said it right here. PBS.
Just parroting the official controlled narrative. It's great. It's great. I mean, it really is genius for them.
Yeah. Do you think we can make an impact here, Basil, and take over? Kind of, I'll get in there. I'll be on the board of education in California. Be like, I'm all for media literacy.
No, we can't make a difference there. I was saying maybe we could put together a little, a class or something on how to easily make videos or podcasts and propagate the truth. That's possible.
It's possible. Yeah. Maybe something for the future when this runs out. But there you go. That's what's going on in California. Great. This is why we are doing mostly homeschool. But I should probably get back to that. I'm doing a podcast instead of teaching my child, so I'm I'm playing hooky.
Hey, bringing home the bacon, baby.
Yeah.
You got to pay for that homeschool. All right, everybody. True. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate the producers ensuring that we survive another episode. And you can, with your time, your talent, or your treasure, I'd like to thank a couple other groups of producers here, starting with the Clippies.
No music.
Is that just not playing? Or?
It's playing. There's just no music.
It's been rough. This is what happens when, take a couple episodes off of live streaming. Got to get back into it here. Clipping on those videos. Thanks. That's right. Thank you to the Clippies. Go follow the Canary Cry Clips channel on YouTube and Odyssey, and hopefully someday soon to be everywhere. And if you are somebody who has even the slightest experience in editing videos, we could use you. Come produce the show. Get in contact with us through the canarycry.support form or send us an email. And that's only possible because of the timestampers. Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp. That's right. Thank you to the timestampers. They timestamp the show often live, and it goes into so much of our back-end processes. This whole house of cards would fall apart if it weren't for the timestampers. And thank you to Jade Bouncerson for timestamping episode 690.
Thank you very much. Well, I think it was, wait a minute. Are you looking at, I thought it was Morgan E. who did 691.
I'm just looking at what's on my sheet here, but it might have been 691. Morgan E.
Weird.
Thank you, Morgan E.
Weird. I changed it, and it changed back. That's
okay.
That's
no
weird.
Problemo. Thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to Clank for clanking. And other than that, folks, just share the show. Share the show. It's the most important thing you can do. You should take a clue from the California education system. When you hear something on Canary Cry News Talk, it is not just your responsibility to hear it, think about it, critically observe it, and decide for yourself if it is true or not. No, that's for far-right extremists. No critical thinking allowed here. Instead, do what the commies do. When you hear a piece of information on this show, go ahead, get to your computer, fire up that webcam, get that USB microphone going, and word for word repeat everything we say on your own brilliant piece of media. That's right. Start a YouTube channel, start a podcast, start an Instagram account, all the things. TikTok, baby. And just word for word repeat every single thing we say, because we got to uphold these norms. Uphold the norms, or else. That's just one way you could share the show. You don't got to do it that way. You could do it any way you want. But we call it rattling cages. And all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! Don't ever silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gons, you got any last words?
No. Thank you for everybody for sticking around till the end. Oh, I will say, just a little fun thing here. I did inscribe some scripture and a link to canarycry.party on the Bitcoin blockchain, Basil.
Whoa,
it's immutable now. We are there forever.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Isn't that cool?
Crazy, bro.
It's fun, yeah. So we are immortalized on the Bitcoin blockchain.
Okay. All right, good.
Yeah.
About time.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in on Wednesday. But until then, think outside the cage.
Armageddon's on the way. We will hunt you down and make you pay.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
It will kill.
for God's sake.
I love the Great Reset.
Toilets!
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye!
Commies, or cartels.
Canary, cry back support.